Can you hear it? Welcome to Relay.
And
Oh my
that's
goodness.
actually why I have a tub of Vaseline on the desk that's only got 3/4 left and a very telling sign on the inside of it.
Me too. It's because it's tasty.
When are we going live?
Hey, Tip.
I think tomorrow.
Hey, Fast Cart.
Awesome.
All right. Everyone is here. Here we go. And you can't blame me for this one, but I do apologize for it. Quick quivering quartets and lugubriously languishing quatrains. Disco is a doom-created analog of alliterational allegory, almost administered an asymptomatic capillary attack. Brought on by the bygones short of Byzance, he's the byword for imaginative and plausibly, elusively, and irrationally outstanding. Not to be outdone, overlooked, or outshone from the outer orbit of the Oort cloud, it's Nakara. And sinister slithers the slagged surly shiver, sitting in someone else's silk chair. Hi, I'm David, and this is the Relay Station.
Has been for a long time. All right. Thank you for that, David. Welcome,
I'm
everybody,
sorry. Hello.
To the Relay Station. That is one of David's better intros over the years.
Yeah. It's never going to be ants.
Nothing's.
Ants, but yeah.
I mean,
Nothing
nothing
will ever
beat ants. Yeah. That was amazing. Yes.
Did you say silk chair or silk seat?
I think I said silk chair. I should have done silk seat. It's true.
Yeah. Silk seat was satin cushions. Satin sausages.
Why are there sausages? Why are there sausages
like
in your
that.
satin seat?
Oh dear Lord!
Because there's 6 of them sizzling.
Silk seat with satin sheets.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Alliteration Day at Star Citizen.
That shouldn't have the effect that
Relay.
has on me. I just want you to know that.
Yes. Star Citizen. That thing we all know and love to talk about. Good.
Is it all right to call you Tip, or is Tipitarius what you would prefer? And also, hello, Pascal. I should have asked that about 5 years ago. I'm very sorry. When I had hair, it was blonde, so I'm a little slow. Fell out the tree once. I had to stop and ask for directions halfway.
Oh, jeez.
There was this time when I was a kid. I was just sat staring at the orange juice for about 4 hours, and finally one of my parents came in and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, it says concentrate."
Oh.
Just the tip is fine.
Hey, Dan.
Hey,
all
we're
right.
supposed to talk about Star Citizen, right? Let's go.
We are.
That's a good one, Tip.
That was a very good one. I want to start, I think, today.
Hi, Dan.
About talking about the well, I don't know. I guess we know there's a MISC ship coming. And its name.
We don't talk about spoilers on here, do we?
Well,
that one is pretty blatant.
Is that I genuinely have a question. Is that a leak?
This is a live show, right?
It's a live show. It was done by a CIG dev. Is that a leak?
Hey, look. Yes, because it's not been officially released.
It's a I don't know.
I mean, if we want to go like that, I don't want to bring up old wounds on a certain person, but there was that huge release during a content drought by an official dev, and that counted as a leak.
That did count as a leak.
Yeah. I don't know.
Very well timed one.
This one seems...
It was needed.
Well, we don't even know anything about this. Yes, there's a MISC ship. Yes, it's named the Fury.
All right, if we're going to talk about it, that's a fucking weird name for a MISC ship, I just want to say. MISC aren't exactly known for ships with names like Fury.
It's going to be
That's
some.
got to be a warship,
It has to be.
and
And
they're not exactly known for warships.
You do realize, Shiver, that there's this guy. There's this guy sitting at a desk at MISC headquarters, right? And somebody told him, after like 73 years of working there, they're like, "You get to name our next ship." And he's like, "Fuck yeah, it's gonna be the Fury." He's been waiting to name a ship that for 73 years. That's his tale right there.
And they're like, yeah, but why are you calling it a Fury? All it does is tow other ships. Shut up! You gave this to me. Don't take it away.
Exactly.
that is a cool theory, Tipitarius. I like that theory. I find it interesting that you say that MISC don't do
they're not,
combat
they're not
ships.
Known for
They're not-
warships. You've got
they're
the
not-
Freelancer Miss.
Miss. That's about it.
Yeah,
And the
and even that,
and the Starfare military version.
but even
Yeah,
both
but it's not a
of those
combat
have
ship. That's just heavily
a
armored, right?
secondary role of transportation, refueling, and now they're just going full send on. Fuck it, just stick some guns on it.
I'm really interested to see this though, because I do love MISC ships. I don't know. I'll be interested to see what a combat MISC ship looks like, if that is indeed what we
It would
get.
be so
I did.
funny if this is the food truck. This is the food
Oh.
truck, the MISC Fury.
It's the taco stand. That's why it's called the Fury.
That's right. Yeah.
But I mean,
Oh, man.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm drawing a blank, which is quite often. There's no real MISC starter ship, is there?
The Reliant.
Like the
The Reliant, yeah.
I wouldn't call that a starter ship though. That's a two-man jobby.
It's a
It's-
starter plus.
It's one of
Yeah,
it's
there's no
it's
straight
in the
up-
starter.
Get this for $40 and Star Citizen. Is there?
There is.
Is the Reliant not that?
I thought the
That-
Reliant was a bit more expensive than that.
Well, let's go take a look. Robert.
Turn me down.
I do think it's a little bit more than the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if
Oh,
bounty hunting
yeah.
does have a
That's true tip.
and I think a bounty hunting ship would actually make a lot more sense for MISC than a military ship. It has more of a role. It has more, like, I can't see MISC making just a ship to bomb stuff.
Spin my nipple nuts and send me to Alaska. It's a MISC bounty hunting ship. It's fucking. Oh, my Star Wars knowledge is shit. What's Boba Fett's ship?
Slave
name?
One.
Oh, it is named that. Ooh, like that. But yeah, that so, the Star Citizen equivalent of that
That would be
bounty
nice.
hunting ship could be a
quick note.
starter. They haven't got a niche in the starter.
What's up, Eric?
The Reliant does not have a game package, and it is $65. Actually, I think there are actually interesting. That's kind of interesting because the Hull A, I think, is actually cheaper than the Reliant.
The Reliant is an interesting idea for a ship, but I don't think it's going to see very much use, to be honest.
It needs some help.
I'm really interested to see what they're doing with this, because MISC has had the Starfarer, which needs a complete rework. It's got the
Oh, God,
Freelancer,
yeah.
which needs a complete rework. It has the Reliant, which needs a complete rework. It has the racing one, which hasn't been touched in a decade. And then they've got the Hull A, which is good. It's new. It looks
Yep.
good. The rest of the hulls, we have no idea. They're looking good, but and then they've got the mining buddy.
Prospector. It's in good
The
shape.
Prospector, which is a good ship, but the Prospector and the Hull A are both really similar. They share
Yeah,
a
they
lot
are.
of DNA. For a small little, they're little bubble ships.
Yep. By the
Um,
way, I was wrong. The Hull A is $90. I was off base there.
Okay. But oh, it's been renamed? Yes, that is good. Yeesh. Those two ships are very similar in DNA, and nothing else MISC really matches that. And so much of MISC needs a rework. Like, they've got the design language for the Hull series. They now have the design language for the, like, more workman focused ships. I'm wondering if this Fury will get some new design language that might then translate over to things like the Reliant, like the Freelancer, like some other stuff that really does need to be reworked.
I would assume so. Yeah. I do think that at some point they do need to do a pass through like the manufacturer and rework a bunch
Pretty
of
much
stuff.
every single MISC ship needs to rework except the Freelancer, which I think we can all agree is perfect as it is and should never be changed in any way, shape, or form.
Where's here we go. Just mute, remove from group, ban, and block.
Well, that's commitment. You actually right-clicked as well. That's real commitment.
I was reading my options.
I like
I
that.
don't know.
Okay. Does
in
anybody
fact,
have a? Okay. I want to go around the table, and I want the chat to do this
To weigh
as
in.
well. If you, what is the perfect use for the name Fury? What should this ship be? The MISC Fury, the Musashi Industrial and Spaceflight Concern Fury. What?
Some sort of tactical incinerator-based ship that can spread fires. I don't know why.
We use this to burn down planets.
Yeah, I mean, wow, planets. I was just thinking, you get a horde of Furies and you can swarm a larger ship and then just set that bastard on fire.
How do you do that in space?
How do you travel faster than light?
Good point. Good point.
But no, I mean, so you could just have it so it just latches onto a bigger hull and then it just
like pours
heats.
lava inside.
Well, yeah, it just, heat does conduct through space.
Very
There's
poorly.
nowhere for that heat to go, so you just conduct that bastard into somewhere else, and then all the crew are aboard, and they're all like, "It's getting very hot in here. Send an engineering team down there. Oh dear, they've burned to death." All in game.
Elwick thinks a tank. I could see that.
A tank would, I mean, I wouldn't mind something that sort of rivals the
Tonk?
Starfighter. The Starfighter, right?
The Starfighter. You want a Starfighter
Well,
competitor named the
my
Fury,
problem-
that would make sense to me.
my problem with the Starfare is it's got the Ion, which I like because it's, chonk, but it's an energy weapon, and then it's got the other variant, but the other variant's ballistic. I want a variant of the Ion that just sends like 100-pound slugs.
So railgun.
Yeah, but they're easily defeated by salt.
That was amazing. A hover tank. I like that idea. It needs to be a competitor to the Tonk.
Why don't we have a hover tank? We had one in
Hover
Battlefield
tonk?
2142. I
There
want
should
a
be
hover
one.
tank.
Yep.
A hover tonk. A
Hover
hover tonk.
An ore processing ship that would work too, just for the like intense heat of the smelter inside.
I think what this ship should be is a really mobile, small, like almost like a defense ship
Ooh, that's
that
cool. Like
that can tag. Misk has so many other ships that have no defenses, and they're to run stuff from point A to point B, and they are so incredibly vulnerable. I think the Fury is what Misk has built after decades of seeing their ships attacked and destroyed by pirates, and the Fury is their response. And I want like a light, really fast fighter that can get to, the hull C that's under attack and defend it.
I could totally see that. That's a great idea.
Hmm.
And Fury is a great name for a defender ship too.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
it really is.
Elwook, did you see someone posted it? It's probably on the subreddit, but someone did a render.
It's in the Discord.
Is it in the Discord? Yeah, it's in the Discord as well. Someone did a render of the Freelancer with hair, the Misk Furry.
I did see that.
It's pretty good.
I thought it was a Furlancer.
Maybe, I don't know. The furry, the Misk Furry, Furlancer. It was good. Um. It would have to be filled with tribbles though.
I mean, it would be very quickly.
Anyway, that's the only like. Is there anything else news-ish that happened this week other than ISC? I've been Link was sick.
What did they call it? Underground facility or something like that?
Yeah, we're gonna go through the
I don't know why
facility,
they called
but
it the underground facility when it's not underground.
part of it's underground, lots of it's above ground. You know what?
Actually, let's 4% of it's above ground.
Let's hop over and watch as they show it. You can see it in the distance. These things are already
Huge.
genuinely impressive.
Yep. Yeah, these are very large facilities.
Well, and it's cool because you can see another one way in the distance, and there's one point in the episode where they're talking about like you land here, you've got no reputation with the firm that owns this place, and you walk in and you start taking missions from here, and you might have multiple missions from this place. And I find that really interesting because for the longest time all we've done is taken missions off the Moby class because there's no real place to go for missions. But this will, and I hope that they use this correctly, but you've got this facility, and this facility should have almost a radius of the planet and the space above it that it cares about, that its missions can be in, right?
I could see that.
I think that'd be really cool. And you've got a bunch of these dotted around the planet, and they've got their sphere of influence, and it's some company that this is where they've set up their shit, and you're gonna have to go and work with that company, and they'd be different ones for the different locations. And I don't know, it's
Then
yeah.
After you've done 12 missions for them, you find that they're all furries.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a great timeline? Anyway, sorry.
CIG have already sort of done it with some of the armor, but I feel like the armor that they've done it with has all been the like Halloween stuff, and it's all really creepy. I would genuinely like CIG to have like furry armor.
They totally should
Why?
use it. They totally
Why not?
should use it for the cold planets.
Because I don't want to walk around my science
Hilarious.
fiction game and look at people dressed up like a badger.
But there will be. There already are now. There will be in 2942.
Oh man.
I was at the mall.
I hate that you're right.
I was at the mall the other day with Link, and someone was walking around in a giant eagle suit, and it was really cool. And Link
He
loved
was
it.
just
And
American.
I'm cosplaying as an American. Oh, that's good.
We've never seen a real one in the wild, but this is what they look like, isn't it?
Definitely. Definitely.
the
Wow.
these locations are going to be huge.
Oh,
They're going to
man.
add.
Just insane.
Well, and it's really interesting because there's still like this is white box, right, or gray box, but you
This
can
is white
see
box.
this is white box, but they've got like NPCs walking around, which is actually really nice to see.
Yeah.
And you can get an idea of the size of these things, and I think it's going to be really interesting because lots of times you're not going to be going this deep into the facility. You'll stop at the outside. They'll have something for you to do. You're going to go do it. But this also means that they can have these entire facilities that Ninetales have taken over, and you have to go like it would be like a raid that you and a group of people would have to go and try and clear out, and it's going to be a hell of a mission, and you'll have to get down far enough, and then you can unlock the elevators, and you got to get down far enough, and you can unlock, you know, the ability for someone to bring in more supplies from up top. Like the amount of gameplay possibilities in this facility, like this thing's the size of friggin' Half-Life in one facility on one planet. I don't know. It's huge. I love
One of
it.
the things I
Amazing.
noticed
Amazing.
when they were talking about the top level is how saying, you know, and in the back here will be all these offices, and obviously there's nothing there right now, but it speaks to the testament of modularity, because they can put in offices, they can put out offices, they can just have these on, you know, this shell, this prefab shell on virtually any planet, and it's going to be unique to that planet.
Yeah. And with the like the procedural generation work that they're doing, I mean, I have a feeling they'll be able to do more than we think they will, if that makes any sense. Like they'll be able to fill the interiors of these procedurally, but I seriously want, like right now they're designing, they've got the one design for the exterior, and you know all of the hallways are all laid out, and they'll be able to put different things in the different spots in the hallways, but that's about it. But I mean, I can't see them not eventually just procedurally generating entire buildings.
Yep.
Don't think it's going to work like that, though.
I mean, they're doing it not at first, but they're doing it with space stations, right?
For them to just have like this prefab thing, and then put the entire prefab location into whatever software it is that's running procedural generation in the engine, and say, look, okay, this is part of Frontier Outpost Set 1, and they've got all these other objects that are in Frontier Set Object 1, and they're like, okay,
and it fills
in this radius on the planet, Frontier, you know, add in the appropriate Frontier set, and it's going to be these prefabs, at least at the start. Once they've got a game shipped, and they can start going, all right, now let's start looking at the details of
Yeah.
these prefabs and start splitting them up. But because if they end up doing that now, that's going to be a long,
not-
long task.
I'm not saying
But
they're
yeah,
going to do it
yeah.
now. I'm saying that they're going to be able to do that down the road, to be able to have these in many systems, all
Yeah,
different, right?
yeah. All different,
And
but
maybe-
yet but familiar enough for you to be able to navigate your way through when you start seeing, "Oh, that's not the way, it's this way." And they did touch on that when they said there are all these multiple directions to get to the same place.
What
So, yeah,
what
yeah.
I'd really like to see is, like, right now they're just designing them all the same, and like at no point are CIG ever going to take the No Man's Sky route where it's just procedurally generated and slopped on a planet and good luck, right? But what I could see them doing is there is going to be a realistic number of companies in the verse, but I could see each company that has one of these having their own style of them, and all of those in that style are that, like, all of the misc, what are these called, like all the misc
Underground
monoliths,
facilities or
all the
UGFs.
all the MISC UGFs will have the same general layout. All the Anvil UGFs will have the same general layout, right? But those general layouts will probably be different from all of each other. Anyway, I love it. I'm excited to see more.
I did like that they're talking to about how they want to basically have as much gameplay as possible within the, like, basically try and hit almost every type of gameplay within even mining and stuff. And so I'm thinking that they'll probably have chambers that are like open to the cave, like this cave hasn't been excavated yet, and then you can go and like do mining down there. And it would be there's a lot of possibilities there, like even discovering, the old Lord of the Rings thing. They dug too deep and now they found some freaking creature underground, and
I want to see infestations.
Yeah.
Right? Like the upper levels are fine, but we can't go down the elevator because it's infested with lice.
A 70-foot sandworm came through the wall.
Yeah, why not? Hey, Edgar.
Oh man. Yeah, no, this is scale in Star Citizen is amazing. Everything they make is just gargantuan. The play space in one of these underground facilities is going to be the same as most other games traditionally.
Mhm.
It's just enormous. I'm really, and that it just gives them so much. I think that's why they made them so big. Is it gives them an enormous amount of flexibility. So it's really neat. I'm glad to see they're progressing on it well.
Alwooks just said something that reminded me. Thank you very much. I like how they're putting the ducts to sneak through that they'll never hook up. And yeah, I was literally wondering, if I haven't got a good enough reputation, can I get in an air duct and just bloop, 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 Deus Ex my way down?
Totally.
Yeah.
I never asked for this.
I mean, I think that's the idea, but
Yep.
I think these are going to be also kind of hubs.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You'll have a lot of people coming
Man.
here to either take cargo or deliver it, because these are going to, like, keep in mind, CIG have said repeatedly that the economy of Star Citizen is real, right?
Yep.
It's happening. These underground facilities, things are going to be made here. Like, these are manufacturing facilities, which means
that's why they're so big, is so you can put
Yep.
manufacturing in them.
they're manufacturing facilities, which means they're going to be taking deliveries of the goods that they need to, like the material that they need to build with, and they'll be shipping out whatever it is that they're building. So they will all probably have not just like the company that owns it, but also what this particular facility creates, which again, that amount of detail is just, look, there, you see what this facility makes? It makes that gun that's on that hologram right there. That's what this one makes, and that's all it makes.
I was actually thinking too when they were showing like the exterior view of the UGF. Once they have roads in it, like you're talking about them as a hub, and it's a great idea and it's a great thought because they will be hubs, they'll be manufacturing centers. It'd be really cool for like if there were local sources of any materials they need. Once roads are in, to see like roads snaking off from them into the mountains and out into the like fields and to farms and mines and stuff. It'd be really cool.
And I have to say, the more I think about it, the less I'm sure that roads are going to be the thing here. But I'd love to see trains.
We don't need roads.
We don't need roads. I'd love to see trains, though.
Oh, the moment you said trains in this context, I immediately snapped to the train job episode of Firefly.
Yeah.
With the hover train. Going
trains between they've already got subways. They've got working subways. Why not have overland trains?
I can totally see that.
That yes, you can pull a heist on. Like just there's just there's too much.
Yep.
Would you say it's going off the rails?
Look, I signed up for this when this was a single player space fighter with no FPS, no procedural planets, no like no even multiplayer. Like it was just, this was a single player.
No, nothing.
It has been a hell of a ride watching Star Citizen morph into the most ambitious video game ever made.
Yeah, it's been interesting, that's for sure.
Yep.
Oh no. Oh man.
Well, not too sure what else to talk about the underground facilities with.
Planes and automobiles.
We can talk about trains.
Decent John Candy movies.
Any.
All of them. Yeah, all of them.
Never seen Uncle Buck.
Uncle Buck's
movie.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Oh, it's so good.
Are there bad John Candy movies?
No.
No.
Because John Candy's in them.
Did you know? I feel like one of those YouTube shorts. In the movie
you
Home
know that?
Alone.
Oh.
John Candy didn't have a script. Everything he
really?
says in there is completely improvised. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all improv. And he got paid, was it $67 or something for his
yeah, he was on a severely reduced fee.
Why?
It was like a favor
John
to
Candy.
literally it was like a favor to somebody. He was just there and they needed somebody and he just did it. And he actually has like a significant part of the movie and none of it is scripted and it's done for like $60.
Hey, Griff.
I like the fan theory that Planes, Trains, and Automobiles was a prequel to Cool Runnings.
Yes.
Cool Runnings is an amazing movie. And it features my home. So, you know.
You were born in Jamaica?
The other location in the movie.
You were born in a bobsled?
Yes. That's all Canadians are born in bobsleds. That's the deal.
That's the thing.
And you only get to survive as a Canadian if you can make it to the bottom successfully.
You have to spend the night in a moose carcass.
That's your first birthday. Fifth birthday, you have to wrestle a polar bear.
Which is getting really hard
Why
because there aren't many of them
Are
left.
polar bears a problem in Canada now?
What?
Well,
Are
no,
polar
it's just
bears a
that
problem in Canada?
I mean,
They're
polar bears
cold.
have always been a problem for the people who live up there.
I know that, and Eris is going to like this one. Due to climate change, polar bears and grizzly bears are now meeting for the first time, and they're actually...
Ever.
Yeah.
For the
What?
first time. Polar bears and grizzly bears are the same species, basically.
Well, yes, I know this, but now they're making Pisleys.
But yeah. They're okay. Side note, but this is something I do know about. It's actually really interesting. Polar bears and grizzly bears look nothing alike, but they're actually very closely related. They didn't separate as a species very long ago. They're basically subspecies. So the most likely thing that's going to happen to the polar bears is that they're going to become grizzly bears again.
That bridge can be retracted.
Yep.
This is a set location where
God, look at you going back on topic. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, I know he never does that. That's my job. I don't know what's
Right?
He's like, enough of this bear talk. Let's go back and talk about Star Citizen.
is this the barely station or the relay station?
I think
barely-
Is this a relay station? Just barely.
I think we're
barely able to stand it.
But I mean, I hope that's what happens with polar bears. They're in trouble, but they're gigantic predators. I'm hoping that they'll be okay. They are
But like
very
many
closely
predators.
related to. They are very closely related to grizzlies.
Like many
so
predators, they're fucking adorable.
They are, unless you're like close.
Yeah. Would you swap panda bears for polar
So,
bears? Because fuck panda bears. Honestly, they're just fucking useless. The only reason we keep them around is because they're adorable. Fuck them. Get rid of them. Bring back polar bears instead.
I want to talk about this room because I've got questions about this room.
You know what else? I hear that fucking panda bears. I hear they like raisins.
Who doesn't?
All right.
Fucking polar bears. That's who.
All right.
I could really go for some raisins right now.
You backstabbing Judas.
This room here has a bunch of the cranes to move all of these containers.
Yep.
Do you think the roof opens?
I mean, they have to go somewhere.
They have to get those containers out.
Yeah, I would guess the roof opens.
I mean, they could do many different variants, couldn't they? You couldn't just have a roof open. Take it back. They could have a cargo underground train station or something. Because if we're going to have trains in the future, they're going to have just to make sense to have them in the first place. They would have to take far larger cargo than they do today. Otherwise, it would be just pointless. Because I would imagine that almost any spaceship that's out there in the verse has the same sort of freight equivalent of today's trains anyway.
I think what you'll see is like really long trains. Trains become more efficient the more cars they get on them, right? And you can't land a Hull E. You can't land a Hull D.
Yep.
You can't land a Hull C or B even, I believe.
Hull B can land.
You can land the B, yeah.
Can you land the B and then fill it up?
Not all of it.
I don't think you can.
No,
yeah.
No, because it has spindles up and down.
Yeah.
The Hull A can be landed when it's full.
But that's the only one.
Yeah.
Right? So they need...
Yeah. The what was it gonna say? The hull CD&E can land when they're not
Closed.
loaded with when they're not loaded.
Well, the
with
Hull
cargo.
E can land without cargo. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, all of them.
Oh, really? I didn't think it could.
But none of them can put cargo on them when they're landed. So what you're
Yeah.
going to have happen,
No.
and you won't be able to move like all of that cargo that we see in the bottom of this underground facility. You're not going to be able to move all of that with Hull A's, but you can't move it with B, C, D, or E. So you're going to have trains that will take that to, like, I mean, honestly, almost to a spaceport that will then have frequent trips up to space stations, and then the larger hulls will fill up in those space stations.
I like this.
So
you're creating an infrastructure. I love it.
Mm.
I don't see a way to do it without that infrastructure, right?
Yeah.
And they're not going to fake it. 'Cause they're-
probably not. No,
It's CIG.
it's CIG and Tony Zarevek, and
Chris Roberts.
they won't want to.
Yep.
If they
Does anyone
if they got to design a train, they'll design a train.
Exactly. I mean, like you said, they're going to have a full developed economy, and which means you do need the infrastructure to move products, raw materials, anything around once it's planet side. Because you're not going to see a tank just bringing a load of cargo with it. You might, but
I'd like to. I think it would be fun if you could like attach a sled to a tonk and then drive the sled full of goods around,
yeah,
pulled by the
yeah,
tonk.
yeah. And I'm sure that you would be able to do something like that. Surely, don't call
Oh
me
man.
Shirley, but just a small amount at the very least. But
Okay, well we've gone over the underground facilities. I'm going to take us on a hell of a tangent because I just had an idea that I would love, because we've got the tractor beam attachment, right? We've got tractor beams. They work.
Yep.
Now, give me like one track, like you can stick it on this and stick it on this. Like tether. Give me a tractor beam tether. So that I can
You're just trying to recreate Hard Space Shipbreaker.
kind of, but also like take a tonk, slam a tether on it, and slam the other end of it on some cargo and drive off with that cargo. I would love that.
Mhm.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
That'd be really cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
is things like this only just occurring to you now?
Yeah.
Like, they've got this physics engine, and I can tell you now that people are going to fuck with it, and there is going
totally.
to be some mad stuff going on
why
just
they're
like
doing it.
that.
That's why they're
Yeah,
doing it.
like,
That's what
you could
sandboxes are for.
Well,
why stop there? Why not have your ship that's got a tractor beam, have your caterpillar just fly over this tank, tractor beam it, and then just,
So Dan, you're right. They are going to have like spawn lockers for cargo, like they have for NPCs. But if we like through that video showing the underground facilities, you can almost see where they're going to be, because there will be some manufacturing stuff hidden, and then the material will come out, and the material is going to be in those crates. And those crates are going to be picked up, and from there, because those crates are going to, like, the crates are physicalized, and the contents of the crates are physicalized, and those are going to go onto ships. Now, it's the whole tree in the forest. If there's no one there watching the crates, if there's no one there watching the underground facility, it's just going to be AI. It's going to be like
Just
Quanta.
It'll all be
It's going to be numbers in the background of Quanta. But if you're there watching, then yeah, there will be ships coming and picking up this material, these crates, and flying it away. You might not see workers on the line manufacturing stuff, but they can also get away with that and just say, "Oh, it's all manufactured by machines." Like there's a
robot.
I'm starting to see what Dan Grunland means now. Yeah, they've got to fake at least some of it,
yeah.
because At the very
Totally.
least, you know, you're not going to have these NPCs that are overlooking this named, go home, have a routine. Fuck that.
They will though.
Will
They will
they?
because yes,
No.
because
Will
all
they?
yeah, I thought they said that all Quanta had that, or most of them. They like. This is going back to Tony's talk from what 3 years ago.
I'm starting to see
which,
what Dan Grundman means. I'm starting to see
no,
what he means.
but what they've said is, anytime you enter the probability volume, if you're in that probability volume, any NPCs that you encounter there are named. They have a schedule. And it's pulling all of that from the Quanta for those NPCs. Like they are all, and that's honestly not even all that hard to do. You just generate.
No, it's not the technical aspect of it. It's the amount. You know, because you all of a sudden, instead of having just generic NPC 1 to 1,000, you've got David Relay, Eric Relay, Shiver Relay, and then you've got to assign them these homes, and then they have to have these schedules of what time they go. Just think that's too much to bother wasting database space with when they could just have
And
faceless
Dan, you're right.
NPCs on the product line.
Eric, go.
Quantum works through observing the actions of hundreds of thousands of lightweight NPCs called Quanta. Each Quanta has its own desires, skills, jobs, and inventory. Those are the aspects it has. Desires, skills, jobs, and inventory.
You won't, and now hang on, because Dan is right. You won't be able to watch one of those Quanta go to their house yet.
Because Quanta don't exist in the game world.
Yeah.
They only exist in the universe simulator. If you are seeing something, it isn't a Quanta. It's a different entity. Quanta are just the thing that makes the whole background work. Basically, they're like, you know, you live in Ottawa. You don't see the people who go to work in like some random city in Uzbekistan, you know, like they exist and they make things and they do stuff, and you might hear about them.
But if you're in a probability,
like Skyrim, basically, where in Skyrim every single character is named, does have this thing. You can watch them go to work. You can watch them go home. You can watch them get stuck on the scenery, stand there and go, "Hey, friend," every so often. I think that they will just basically be generic NPCs that only exist for the purposes of when you appear. That is their existence.
I've got a really big question for you, though. So we're talking about Quanta. Quanta have all of these things. They've got desires. What was it? Desires, items, stats. Like they have information on all of them. Couple questions. One, is it all that much harder to give them a name if they've already got these other statistics? I don't think so.
No, really. You just have a random name generator.
Random name generator. You can give every single one
got a limited amount, and if they're going to be these when they're a Quanta, they're sell whatever weird code assignment they get, and then they've also got to then pull the information that, this cell, we once gave it that name, so it's got to be there. And it's like, why clutter up the database with basically useless information?
I don't think that Quanta will have names.
I think they
no,
will.
no. But they've got no, they can't. Not not in the way that I'm thinking. They would have to.
David,
let's say,
why would you name them?
We're talking about, so Quanta are the things that are running in the background. They've already got a bunch of information, right? What I'm trying to say is that adding a name is not difficult, and adding a name means that when you're pulling up that probability volume, and when you're populating that probability volume based on what Quanta are in that probability volume for a player, well, either you have to generate a random name for the NPCs that the player will see, or you pull those names from the Quanta that are there already, Why not just pull from the quanta that are there? And the other thing I want to say is if we're giving it a name, which honestly isn't that difficult, why not give it a home location? That's not that hard. Considering
because it's basically, for all intents and purposes, useless information that's taking up storage space.
I don't think it's
don't-
useless.
It's been too long for me. I need to go back and read about what the virtual AIs are about.
Okay. Think of
'Cause
it like
they're-
this, right? Quanta is a filing cabinet. Inside of Quanta are all the files for Quanta entities. What they do, what they need to do, where they need to do it, right? And if that's huge, great big chunks of information for the amount of information that is in Star Citizen. And then we're going to put names on there as well.
Stiver, you just said it, though. No, because you just said it, where they need to do it. Well, guess what the things...
Hell of a lot easier.
Yeah, but where? All a home is a where. They're going to populate cities with tons of different apartments and housing. You give those quanta a where. Done. That's their home. Because those quanta have to leave from their home to wherever they go to do work.
Yes, but the problem with that is that's just a huge chunk of information.
But it's information that they're all... Yeah, but it's information that they're already tracking. They're already tracking all of this.
No, they're not.
Yeah, for all the quanta.
They're going, no, that's not how it's going to work. Why would they bother doing that? All they need to do is just say, this file here, this file here, this file here. This is a person, this is a factory, plop. That's where it goes. Whereas if it's this file here is named NPC 5647. Once one person came over, we had to generate a name for him. He's now called Philostantipetarius. Now that's saved in that information. Philostantipetarius is no longer just a quanta dot. He is now a different kind of NPC that's got to be tracked. He's got to be told, this is where it is. This is where you go. This is your wife. This is your life. At this time, you go there. Whereas if it's just a quanta dot, it's like, this space needs filling. I move dot there. Dot does this. I know for us as humans, we're looking at this going, that's not useless information. But to a piece of software, that's fucking useless information. That could be assigned to a player. That's player storage space.
I don't think that's going to end up being used.
We've got this ship that's in distress over there. We're going to generate a mission from there. No one's going to it. Why bother assigning anything to it? But then someone goes there.
But Shiver.
Bob Jones.
No, but hang on, because we're saying, oh, that's useless information. But I genuinely don't think that is useless information. Because they've already got... Because what are the things that they have to store for quanta already?
Everything.
Desires, skills, jobs, and inventory.
Okay, so you've got to have their desires, their skills, their jobs, their inventory. Is a name... How many bits is a name?
Only a couple of hundred of that.
2 bits?
But then
2 or 3 bits?
How many times does that have to be repeated on one planet? Then how many times does that have to be repeated in the entire universe?
Yeah.
There are 10 million.
How many times are you going to see? There's only so many names that you can randomly generate as well.
There's 7 billion people in the world, so you got at least 7 billion names.
How many Eric Smiths are
Times
there?
that by 100.
How many Eric Smiths?
Well, no. I mean, they don't have that many. They're trying to do times 10, right?
Oh.
So it's 10 times the player number, basically.
Yeah.
Whatever the player number is times 10.
I just feel it's needless. Who
I
gives
feel
a fuck? Seriously, are you going to go to this planet and say, there's my favorite NPC, that's Bob Jones. I'm going to just follow this guy, see what he does.
Yes.
That's all I do in game is just follow him.
Absolutely.
How many times are you going to do that?
Absolutely, people are going to do that.
I want to watch this happen.
Yeah, and then they're going to be like, you know what?
now.
This is fucking boring. I paid money for this game, and all I'm doing is stalking an NPC. I need to
Shiver, have you ever
reevaluate
watched-
my values in life.
Shiver, have you ever watched any of the people trying to find things to do in Star Citizen on Twitch? They will
Yes, that's fair,
absolutely watch the NPCs to see what they do in their lives. 100%, no
I
question.
don't see why they're going to do it. It's just so. There's a limit, man. There's a line in the sand, and they're like, you know
Shiver,
what?
No,
Fuck it.
Shiver, you're wrong. You're wrong because the line in the sand, was procedurally disappearing food when you eat it. They crossed that line. There are no more lines.
Will the eggs be individually named? Will the chickens that laid the eggs be
Right.
individually
So
named?
none of you have mentioned what is actually going to happen in Star Citizen at this point, which is
Okay,
interesting.
Oh,
I
what
think
is
you
going to
all
happen?
forgot about half of Tony Zervek's presentation, which is
Well, yeah, it was
not
18
surprising 'cause it was
hours.
too fucking long ago. So the back half of his presentation was about VNPCs or virtual AI,
Yeah.
which are basically more fleshed out versions of Quanta. They do have names, they have skills, they evolve over time. So these are the virtual NPCs, so they're not actually appearing in the game universe. In terms of like, you know what I mean. They're operating in the background. But they do have careers and they, kill people and get wanted stats, and everything that happens to a player can happen to them. Right? Cool. That is so a Quanta won't have a name, but a VNPC will. And then if you run into that VNPC in the game, they get transitioned into a real NPC, which has a body and a ship, and so on and so forth, and you can actually see them. And they will persist forever, and you will be able to find them again and chase them around. And
So how many virtual NPCs are there going to be?
That makes sense.
I have no idea. I don't think they really got to that point.
I think we're going to end up seeing. I'm predicting that we're going to end up seeing not very much of a difference between Quanta and virtual NPCs.
So Quanta are basically they're the engine that drives the economy. They're basically ways to move things and have things, basically ways for the economy to process itself, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So they're bodies by which they're like blood cells, kind of, if you know what I mean. They carry shit around, they make shit happen,
Yeah.
And
those are things that don't need to be named.
VNPCs are much more complicated creatures, basically.
Like the janitorial staff that are going to show up and clean up the garbage.
I hope there are VNPCs who are
janitorial
staff.
I don't see why there would be that. But what I'm saying is
that there will be.
Those guys, yeah, absolutely. Named, lives, follow them home, tickle them in their bits, whatever you want, absolutely. But let's say you've got this factory line or something like that, and there are these, what appears to be people down there working on it that you can never get to, that you can't read, and it's just like, they're literally just a visualization of Quanta. I don't think these things need to be named, but
I don't think that's going to exist. What I'm trying to say is that where like there's some shadow NPC like things in the background working that you can see and you can't. That's not going to exist. Any person you can see is going to be named. You might not even find out their name, but it's going when you murder them.
Actually, it wouldn't surprise me if every person you see in the game has a name. That would
every single person you see in the game will have a name. If you see someone, they are named.
Maybe they can have a name. Okay, but if you can't interact, you can't get to this thing. It is basically Quanta visualized rather than actually being any kind of NPC. I don't see why it needs to have the same treatment as an NPC that you can interact with in some way. It's literally, basically, it's just fancy scenery.
I don't know. I think we're gonna have to see what happens. I think what we're gonna have to do, honestly, is wait for the next actual bloody update from Tony Z on Quanta because
Totally.
we haven't had an update on Quanta in 2 years, 2+ years. When was that? God,
Oh,
time. It's
time's-
2023.
Time's become horrible since 2019.
Oh, it was yeah, it was 2019, wasn't it? Because it was in the UK the last time. So that was that was 4 years ago. Whoa.
3 sitcoms ago since we've had an update on that
Right,
work.
because we didn't have a couple sitcoms. So yeah, no, it's been a minute. Yeah. For sure.
we don't have, none of us have any idea what this has all evolved into.
Tony Zerbeck
right?
is going to come back and he's going to be like, so I've decided to so here's what we're going to do, right? In the lab, we've grown algae. Each one of the algae is going to control via its brain mechanisms a creature in Star Citizen. It will make its own decisions.
What we're going to do, right? We've removed players from the game, right? It's going to be revolutionary. The AI is so advanced, you don't need to fucking play the game. Fuck.
All purchases of Star Citizen will come with an MRI scan. The MRI is going to scan your brain and know exactly how you would play Star Citizen and then play Star Citizen for you while you watch it play it.
All right, everyone. All right. $25,000. We take a scan of your brain. When you die, we just put you in the game. You're going to live forever. You see our episode of Black Mirror? That's where we got the idea.
Not the one with pigs.
It's a very interesting impression of Tony Zerbeck, by the way.
Yeah. Best impression ever. You know what he's like behind the camera.
You're not speaking anywhere near fast enough, though. Oh, this is awesome. Oh, man. So, David,
What's wrong with us?
I mean, the thing that's been wrong with us the whole fucking time.
This is why we don't go above single-digit numbers anymore.
That's right.
I don't know why you're all watching us, but thank you.
Thank you so much
Yeah.
for watching our show. Best Star Citizen podcast out there.
I noticed as well, the VOD's got much higher numbers when I'm not here. I'm sorry, it's me.
I definitely don't think it's you.
We're one of the longest running Star Citizen podcasts at this point.
Oh God, we have to be. It's been forever.
We have been doing. I don't know if they're still.
We have been doing this specific show.
Yeah.
For like 7 years.
Longer.
No, 6
Longer.
6 years. Oops. We've been doing this specific show for 6 years.
The relay but we
relay
did.
Station.
But we did.
We did
show.
We did INN stuff for like years before that.
Yeah.
We've been doing Relay Station for 6 years. Over 6 years. 6.5 almost. So, yeah.
Everything's my fault.
Really?
We've gone so far now. We're like a TV show that's about to jump the shark. You know, we're right there.
Griff, congratulations on 3 years.
Citizens.
Hey, congratulations!
That's
Griff.
gone so fast.
That has gone super fast. That's awesome. Oh, that's cool.
I'm just gonna toast. I'm gonna toast to Soul Citizens and their upcoming 3 years. Gonna open this up.
Not fast. Well, yeah. It must feel like that on the other side of the curtain.
Oh man, what do you have there, Dave?
I've got some Taylor Fladgate late bottled vintage port, 2017.
Ooh, very nice. Shiver is looking skeptical. I see him. I see the skepticism. Look at that.
Why are you skeptical? I love port.
It's just port. I'm not a fan.
I love port. But when I can open it.
I'm working on it. Working on it.
You're working on it? Okay. You work on that. I'm going to go work on this. I will be right back.
I'd like to share a story. The other day.
That sounds good. Let's do it.
The other day, my wife and I we went out for a nice day trip. I mean, it was nice fun, but at one point there was this guy who made a pass at my wife, like right in front of me, made a just obvious pass at my wife, and the salt in the wound. His own wife was only a few feet away, and I even got a pic. I got a picture of this happening. Right, look at that, blatant, right in front of me.
Wow, that's so rude.
Right? These famous people think they can get away with anything.
I know. Oh man, just disgusting. Disgusting. Wow. Yeah, no, we've been
Takes the mick.
running for a long time.
Okay. I return with opened
Sure,
port.
I am the reason that
I
there are
gotta-
no Mickey Mouse cartoons anymore. I beat the shit out of him.
Oh man. Is there a real like mouse skull under the you know?
I did it Predator style. I just
sausage.
ripped his fucking head off, spinal cord still attached, and I just
wow.
sprayed it down to get rid of the mouse flesh.
Wow.
And now I display it.
Very Mortal Kombat style. Wow.
All right.
So Griff, what's the topic for tomorrow's show? Is it an anniversary episode? You're just gonna talk about the show, or are you going to be like who will be the most dominant organization in Star Citizen? Something like that.
Cheers.
That's
I
To
mean,
Soul
we all know
Citizens?
we all know it's going to be test because they'll just drive Auroras into everybody. But
I mean,
yeah,
Soul Citizens have still got the passion and enthusiasm. They are doing so much for the community. They have the bar
They're
citizens
amazing.
where
Yeah.
you just apply, you jump
Hang
in,
out.
and you have a drink with others citizens, obviously online, and they have staff jump in. They do a lot. They do a hell of a lot, and I don't know how they do that. Have their own lives and play the game. It's amazing that the passion and the drive has not died out for them, and we're just sat here going, "I want to play my game."
I know how I understand, because back when INN first started and when Relay first started, we did all the transcripts. We had 2 shows a week. We had fiction. We had like analysis articles. We
did the news in 10.
Well, I mean, the easiest
Yeah.
way to put it is that me and David were both putting in over 40 hours a week on INN.
Yep. At least.
Oh yeah, easy. It was a lot.
It was. But
those days
I
are
mean-
not here anymore, boys.
No.
We're
No.
happy to continue on doing this show.
I am
but
very, very happy that that someone else has taken over the reins of quality content and left us to wax poetical about raisins.
Yep.
Bears.
So yeah,
Don't know about
Raisins
that
and
fast
bears.
cart guy though. He's trouble.
The worst. Jeez.
I don't know how anyone keeps it up anymore, but cheers to anyone who
It's
does, because
passion,
yeah,
it's drive. They love
absolutely.
what they do. They love the game. They love the community,
Yeah.
and they've got the willingness to make the time. It's always a team effort, and there's a heck of a lot more in the Soul Citizens team than we ever were. Let's be honest.
We had a good team. But we just weren't ever a large number.
Oh yeah, we had a good team. We really did. Like Sunjammer, Canadian Syrup, Stormy, all of us doing those transcripts together, and it killed us every week. But it was also a form of bonding that we.
And
could
then this
hate
really
doing
weird
it
guy,
every week.
this really weird person, Jake, joined too.
Yeah.
I don't know about them.
Yeah, they're an odd duck.
They are an
we also
odd duck.
we also had this this Dovahkian one.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah. Oh man.
And
Now
man,
I'm
it's
just like,
speaking of been a minute, man. We haven't had Dolvac on anything that we've
yeah.
Yeah, what's
broadcast
he?
in a
just-
I
while.
haven't even heard from it. Is he out of prison yet?
I mean, I think he's still.
That's a joke. Before those rumors start, that's a joke.
Elwook, you're right.
Oh,
Jake,
He's running around
totally.
Jake
the
was
forest
never.
being Bigfoot.
No, he was definitely never going to make it at the Star Citizen scene. He just became the Star Citizen scene.
I apologize that this is what we've come to. We're nearing the end of our sanity, and we're just waxing poetical about the good old days. We're all getting old. We're gonna get a
Yeah.
porch, and we're all gonna sit on rocking chairs on the porch and grumble about how these newfangled
Star Citizen
podcasts.
still isn't done yet.
Yeah,
Oh man,
Dan, I also miss Jake. I'm at some point we will bring Jake back on. It's just
Yeah, but
they're busy.
getting them for time is the problem. They are a busy
Yeah.
duck.
yeah, he's extremely busy. He does an amazing job at his job, but it also is very busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, does anyone have any questions? Any thoughts?
How do you do long division?
No friggin' clue. I failed math.
That's fair.
Yeah, I dropped out of math as quick as I could. Citizen
But
Con
why?
this year.
I'm constantly every day having to work out the area of a circle.
Really?
No, fuck that.
No,
Who
sorry.
needs to
I'm
do
looking.
that?
I'm looking at Citizen at Tipitarius's.
Oh, look at you! Oh, you're interacting with the chat. I see how it is. Fuck you.
I haven't. I find it so difficult to find the time to watch SCL nowadays, and I feel bad because there's such good information there, but
Yeah, every time I watch it, I'm like, "This is great," and then I only watch like one out of every like 3 or 4 episodes.
I used so story time back in the day. INN, the transcripts had to get done because for a lot of people there was no other way to get the info, especially for things like reverse the verse. But CIG all have jobs, and they did this on the jobs. They did things like reverse the verse at like noon on a Friday, and I was at work on noon on a Friday. So I'd sit at work with it on my phone and an ear thing in, typing away while doing just like, oh god.
Yeah, I was doing that
He's
exact
still
same
not
thing, by the
recovered from
way.
it, as you can see. He's still got PTSD.
Oh
I
yeah,
was doing the exact same
100%.
thing.
Yep.
But yeah,
Um,
yeah. There was that time we were doing a live transcript of CitizenCon together, and I just saw you losing it over the period, and it was you descended into comparing things to Darth Vader and the moon, and I'm here like, do I keep going or do I call him an ambulance?
Is that the one where I was
Hmm.
doing it like there was one where I was sitting there live, transcribing live from the floor of
We both were.
CitizenCon. Yeah.
No, that wasn't it. We
Okay,
were both
that
doing
wasn't
this
that.
one. And
Wow.
just looking at the Google Doc of you doing this, and I'm like, do I phone someone or I?
Yeah.
I'm just
So-
gonna keep going in the normal style, and I'll just let him have his moment.
I have many moments. Life is a series of moments. I wanted to talk about. We're a ways away, right? March. Oh God, we're
Yeah, you're in
March.
Canada.
April, May, June, July, August. Okay, we're 7 months away. We're almost half a year from CitizenCon.
Yep.
Well done. You
It's
math.
I mathed. It's
We're
going to
like-
be live.
We're like 7.5 months from
7.5 months. It's going to be live.
Didn't
in
math
LA.
that well.
Nakar and I are planning on going.
We are.
Don't know how yet. Don't know how I'm getting on a plane yet. Don't know where to stay yet. We'll figure all that stuff out.
I ain't getting on no plane.
We're
I
just
can't-
gonna strap him to. We're just gonna strap him to a rocket.
I'd rather that.
You know,
I
tips out here with the truth bombs.
look. It's close enough. We haven't had an in-person Citizen Con since 2019.
2019.
So 4 years. And I don't know about anyone else, but I feel like we have to be nearing endgame for Squadron. And I would like to know if anyone in here among us or in the chat is going to predict seeing Squadron at CitizenCon.
Squadron won't show up at all.
No.
Radio sound.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
Shiver?
Yeah, no.
Not at all? Okay.
No, I although for possibly a different reason, because I do agree with you that we might be surely fucking we are approaching release. So I don't think they're going to show it at CitizenCon. I think they're just going to do a much bigger announcement at random.
Really?
Whenever they're
Hmm.
ready.
Oh god, say this. Oh fuck it. I'm going to full send. I think they're going to announce it a year before release.
1 year.
Just randomly. 1 year before release, they're going to be like, yeah, we're going to drop Squadron 42. See you after Christmas. Wait, what did they say? Come back!
That would definitely be a CIG thing to do. The last day they're in office at like 6:42 p.m. Local time, they just hit the button and go, yeah, a year from today it's dropping, and then they all go for vacation for a month.
Here's-
I really think they're going to do that. I really
Here-
think they'll do that.
Here's the follow-up question. Do you think we're going to get an update on the Squadron 42 stuff that they showed last year at CitizenCon? Because they did technically show some stuff that was being worked on for Squadron. They showed us some the AI in those
Yeah.
corridors. They showed us some AI work, and that was taken from Squadron.
It was, yeah.
Will we
I
see
could
something like
see
that?
I could see that type of stuff. And I'm not. I have to say, my prediction. I'm not married to that prediction. I think it really depends. But if they think that they're more than a year out from release, I don't think that they're going to announce it. Or I
Yeah.
don't think they're going to talk about Squadron much.
If they talk
Um,
about Squadron, it'll be done in a way where it's very sidestepping that this is Squadron, because it's shared tech, isn't it?
It is.
So they
yeah.
can
Next
talk about it
question.
being in Star Citizen, but then you can sit there and say, "Oh, really?"
Next question I have, and I've asked this question several times before, but I think we're going to have to talk about it more as we get closer to potential Squadron, whatever.
All right. So when a man and a woman love each other very much, or when two men love each other very much, or when two women love each other very much, or when two people who are non-binary love each other very much, or when two people who have other pronouns that I'm just, the hardware's old, but the software's willing, they arrange to go to a cabbage patch. They leave a message on a scarecrow asking for the stork to deliver a baby. And then they regret the decision for the next 18 years.
Yep, that's 100%. Here's the question. That was really good, though, by the way. Here's my
Thank you.
question,
100% true.
and I know where I stand on this. Should Squadron 42 have a beta?
No.
Well, yeah, of course it will.
Like an external beta, a public
Are you fucking
beta.
nuts? Why?
No, it will
Okay.
not. There'll be no
Oh.
public beta or alpha.
There has
of
been
any
talk
kind.
in previous years
There
of
has been. It won't happen.
At most,
The whole story will
people
leak.
who have, at most, they may hand pick some people from Evo that have been particularly good at bug reporting or finding bugs that they know they can trust and bring them into a beta team. At most,
And if they
but
do,
there's no.
they will not distribute the beta to that person. They will fly that person to CIG and they will walk them into the building and have them sit down and play it. That's how it
Oh
will
no,
work.
they can have things secured. There's ways that they can have it digitally distributed and secure, and have these people actually sign an NDA that is pretty tight and say, look,
I think
don't
I
fuck
think
around. We
I
know
think
if you're going to leak this.
I think they'll just go I think they'll go the cyberpunk route, where the only way they let people play it was if they had a CIG employee sitting beside them for a
So
long time.
here's my question. Another one, because I mean we're almost done, but I'm just throwing out questions.
Yep.
That someone is.
I gotta do something. Look, I'm just asking. I agree with the no beta thing. I don't want anyone to see this before everyone can see it.
By the
I
time
also-
they're ready, can I just make this point really quickly? By the time that they are ready to start pushing towards the release, they're going to have over 1,000 people in the company who can beta test it.
That's true.
That for a single player game, that is enough people. You can do a decent beta with 1,000 people in a single player game.
Look, the problem is that Star Citizen is not Squadron 42 is not really a single player game, because like if you're saying that an MMO can take 10 years for development but a single player game can't, for the most part you're right, but Squadron isn't a standalone single player game. One of the problems is that Squadron and Star Citizen, which is an MMO, have to match each other as close as possible in mechanics for this to work. They can't release they could have released Squadron several years ago, but they've taken the decision several times to say no, we have to make sure that the tech and everything in Squadron matches what's in Star Citizen, because it has to match. It's not just a standalone single player game. It's
part of the universe.
I liken this actually to, I think it's the Age of Conan MMO that came out a couple of years ago, that I actually really found interesting, because levels, they had like level 1 to 100, right? But your first 20 levels of that game were a single player only campaign experience that showed you all the ropes of the game. It was in the MMO, but it was single player only for the first like 20 levels of it. And then you got out of that story and entered the MMO part, right? And Squadron 42 is that like precursor single campaign that at the end of it opens to the MMO.
Yeah, they put a boot at your back and kick you out the airlock, and now you're in the MMO.
Basically, yeah. I was going to say something else.
I just wanted to mention that. Sorry if I have just a moment. I do think it's taken a long time to make Squadron, and it has. I think it's going to be good. I don't think it's really ridiculously long in terms of when you look at what happened. The circumstances are pretty unique, first of all. Second of all, big single player games do take 8 years to make regularly.
For the first one.
And they didn't have a studio when they started.
The problem with like looking at things like Call of Duty or lots of like Assassin's Creed that come out every 2 years is that they've got the base of the game already. They have the studio, they swap out assets, they do
GTA
art, they
6.
do. Yeah, how long has that been?
Still not even out. And I mean,
Yep.
in
I don't
fairness,
think
there's
it's even.
there's a
don't
legit
think-
argument that they are milking GTA 5 online
Oh,
before they do
so
6.
so hard.
So
And I mean-
Rockstar's always taken time with the game, the single player.
They
at least.
always have, yeah, for sure.
I wanted to say that I agree there better not be a friggin' beta. I don't want anyone to see it. I think I said that. And then I had another question. Oh, right. Really quick, because we're almost done. But let's say I'm gonna throw out a hypothetical. Let's say we're looking at, late end of year 2024 Squadron 42 release.
Yep.
Would you
Confirmed.
rather?
There we go. He's done it. He said it.
Yeah, confirmed. Would you rather that be announced at CitizenCon this year, or at something like the Game Awards, which is early to mid-December?
Couldn't give
Citizen-
two fucks where
CitizenCon.
it doesn't matter.
CitizenCon is for the citizens. Game Awards is massive.
doesn't have any effect personally on me wherever the fuck they announce
No,
it. As
it
long
doesn't
as
have an
it's
effect on
announced.
you. I think if they want the biggest. So here's the problem, right? They do have a bit of an issue here because people have been waiting for it for so long. If they decide to announce it not at CitizenCon, but they probably could have, then they're going to get some backlash from the existing community. However, I know this community. Anyway,
Yeah.
99% of the community would probably be fine with it, but there'll be some very angry people.
Very angry.
I
and
do
very
think-
loud.
I do think right now the Game Awards is a huge platform. It's been extremely successful. It's like a massive platform. I think that it would be a very smart place to announce it. Like not a small thing, like a big massive unveil at the Game Awards would be amazing and would probably catapult Squadron 42 into the focus, like into like the industry focus, because most people actually haven't heard about Squadron 42. They've heard about Star Citizen, but they almost don't even know about Squadron.
Have Mark Hamill show up on stage. And,
Yeah, totally.
This
This is still a game that I worked
why
on.
It doesn't matter. I think
What's
they
up?
announce it at CitizenCon, and the very next day, all these magazines are going to be like, over $500 million earned game announces release date at long last. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to go into the minutiae of the difference between Squadron and Star Citizen. They're just going to say, this $500 million game is coming out
But-
at long last. It's going to be a letdown on release.
and there's
Click
a
more to
question
find
actually.
out why.
Here, there's a question actually, and you know what? I think you're 100% right, Shiver, and I think that because of that, they should actually unveil it at the Game Awards. You know why?
What if they
Because then
announce
more-
Squadron, but then release a trailer at the Game Awards?
Well, I think they need. I think they should do a trailer at the Game Awards. I hope that they do. Like, I think that would be the best place to get, millions of people to look at it and like force them to look at it. Because a lot of people, if they see the articles, oh, it's gonna whatever, it's a scam. But if all these people that think it's a scam see it,
Yeah.
I think
And
they'll
if-
change their minds.
And if you have like Mark Hamill and Gillian Anderson presenting the trailer or something,
more
that'd be
will
pretty cool.
change their mind from seeing it than will change their mind from
Reading an article.
a bunch of articles, right?
True.
I
But
I
there's
think-
always going to be
yeah.
people who, like, if
But they're-
you took them out, pointed at the sky and said, look at that blue sky, are going to say, no, it's red.
Yes, but you're never going to get those. So what you
And I
need
mean,
to get are the
Kotaku-
people that
we all know what the Kotaku article is going to be.
Oh
They
yeah,
don't
100%.
even need to write it. We already know what it is.
We read it every
White
month.
man releases $500 million game after embezzling 3/4 of the funds.
Pretty much.
Here's the article we made up.
With secret sources.
Oh, we're totally gonna get sued by Kotaku.
Bring it.
Good luck, I haven't got any money.
Bring it.
Oh man. Thank
I
you,
don't see
everybody.
it
So much.
exactly super serious. Exactly. But yeah, there was oh shit, was it actually Tip that put in the Discord the other day that
Jesus.
a well-known, notice how I said well-known, not regarded, PC magazine said, when are we going to see a new
Yes.
Wing Commander game? And it's like, you fucking,
You
Dude,
fucking,
they've been
it's been
working on it.
20
you got
30
one
years since
fucking
Wing
job
Commander.
in the fucking world, and that's to know about PC games, right? You fuckstick. How do you not fucking know about this if you're going to start quoting this shit and you've done literally no fucking research and that is your fucking job. If I got on a fucking plane and the fucking pilot said to me, "Oh yes, we've been looking for this new technology. It's called a fucking jet engine." It's like, I'm getting off this fucking plane. Fuck you, you fucking moron. How the fuck do you not know this? One fucking job. There's not like a huge slew of space sims out there in the world right now. But this fucking wankstain is still like, oh, when are we going to see a new Wing Commander? Fucking hell.
Shiver has finally hit the angry heiress stage of his apprenticeship in INN.
Oh my god, that was great. That was a
Remember
great
when I
rant,
used,
Shiver.
remember when I
love
used
that.
to do those all the time? Shiver has now reached the ranting heiress stage of Relay.
Well, I mean, it's
remember-
pretty fucking
remember the name of
stupid, really.
Do you
Your
remember the name of
job
the segment?
is reporting PC games. That is your one fucking job. You get paid real money to do this for a fucking living, right? Right? And it's like, oh yeah, I'm a surgeon, but I get paid to do surgery. But there are these ones where I just don't fucking bother. I just open them up a bit, throw me watch in, call it a fucking day. You wouldn't call that a surgeon, would you? But then
Yeah, it does. It is pretty special that they would even ask that question when the follow up to Wing Commander, the spiritual successor, has crowdfunded $550 million over 10 years.
if he had at least
hang
phrased it
on.
in such a way where there could be no fucking room for it. Oh,
man.
I would like a sequel to Wing Commander. When are we going to see that at EA? But no, he didn't even probably do that much fucking research to find out who owns the fucking IP. Why would he when he can just make a fucking tweet, go out there and then jerk himself off about how much of a good job he's done? Like a fucking twat he is.
One, we've already got a sequel to Wing Commander. It's called Freelancer, and it turned 20 years old, I think, this week. I remember playing that at launch.
Next week he's going to be like, when are we going to see a new Elite Dangerous? You fucking idiot.
Thank you all so much for coming out and watching Shiver Yell.
That was glorious. Do you remember the name of our segment, David?
I don't. Honestly, we've had so many segments at this point.
The last name of our the last segment in our when we did the Unnamed Games show was, I don't know, yell about something.
Oh yeah. I don't know, yell about something. I've got, man,
So
I
Shiver
would
just
actually
Shiver just turned this show into the Unnamed Games show for just a moment.
I hate that I don't have time to do an unnamed game show anymore because I really want to. I've got so many games to talk about and like so many why is it? And CIG really have to CIG really have to be careful with this because they cannot afford to fuck this up. But the number of PC games lately that have launched and been completely fucking unplayable at launch, and like it takes a week and a patch. Guess what? Delay it a fucking week. Don't launch until it can fucking run.
Yep. I've always been hopeful about this because they don't really have any real pressure to launch, like not like most other games do.
Hmm.
I'm really, really hoping that they will just hold and
Yeah.
hold until it's like as perfect as they can get it, and then go.
Like, uh, Wolong came out a couple of days ago. Wolong Final Dynasty, latest game from the Nio developers. Really good looking game. I like it. It's fun. It's a Soulsborne. It's cool. It's the Three Kingdoms era. Great all around. Oh, why does the screen flash white? The entire screen flash white randomly once every 3 to 5 minutes
Oh God.
for like one frame. It's just one frame of just all white, and then
Oh my God. What are they trying to do? Kill people with epilepsy?
why?
That's
Wow.
not even like, mind you, Cyberpunk released with the
Cyberpunk's
brain dance thing,
bad.
and that caused epileptic attacks.
Oh,
That's fucking dangerous. That's not just bad. That's fucking dangerous.
Darktide released a month before it should have. Wolong released before. Like, all these games are releasing before they should. And the number of games that launch, get panned on launch, and then never recover. And it doesn't matter if they're good games. It doesn't matter if they end up actually being decent and being fixed. It's like how did we not sorry, not we, because I'm not in the industry, but how did the industry not, as an industry, look at fucking Fallout New Vegas and take the fucking lesson? We learned that back 15 years ago when Fallout New Vegas
Fucking
launched.
hell,
It
we
was
knew that
complete.
before the internet was
I
that
know.
big. You couldn't fucking release a game like that. You just could not do it.
You
Um,
couldn't.
well, you
And
I
they
mean,
could,
I
but it would be
remember.
garbage.
Well, you'd be fucked, yeah. I remember
Yeah.
way back when Homeworld 2 came out, and there was some problem with that on release. I didn't have internet at that time, and that was a bit. You don't have internet? No. But I was able to ring up support, and they sent me a fucking floppy disk with the patch on it.
I love it.
I mean, that's
love it.
amazing.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
that's
But-
way back in day. But now it's like, everyone's got the internet. We can patch this in a week, get it out, and sell it now. All those people who didn't pre-order, fuck them.
But and one of the problems is there's so many people that like broadband internet. Quite and I'm going to go on a bit of an accessibility rant here, because internet is considered now like almost in the same breath as things like food, shelter, and water as human rights. Like, the internet is required to live now. We are in the digital age. But guess what? There are still millions of people, even in North America, not even talking about everywhere else in the world, that do not have access to broadband internet. So when your patch is 40 gigabytes day one patching that you have to download to play your game, well, fuck.
Yeah.
You're fucked.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
games
not a patch.
have...
That's a new version of the game.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
Anyway,
it's like Star Citizen was before the Delta Patcher, which like massively
Yeah.
improved that.
but it's like, games have to stop doing this shit, because Wolong, it's really interesting, actually. Critics are really, really loving it. Right? It's a good game. It's on Game Pass, by the way. You should, check it out. Especially if you have Game Pass.
38% on Steam.
On Steam, it's
Holy
38%. Look at reviews of it. 9 on 10, 10 on 10, 4 on 5. Really good critical reviews. But on Steam, because it plays like shit, it's mostly negative. Well, guess what? You're not going to recover from that. So many people are going to look at that mostly negative score and never buy it.
Yep.
You have to delay. You have to delay nowadays because of how much people talk and how quickly people review. You have Kerbal Space Program in early access is having that problem. Wolong game after
as
game after
a
game.
supplement to this, right? You release an early access. Fair, fine. Okay, you set this bar. It's early access. Bugs. Okay. Don't charge me full game.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I do not like that. I know it's very much. I don't have to pay it if I don't want to. All right. Well, they didn't have to release it in early access and charge me the full price fucking either. I'm
The entire
here
point.
giving them my money to play this game in early access. I'm paying the full price for the privilege of an early build, and I'm also technically a beta tester. Yeah, I'm
It's-
going to leave a fucking bad review because I paid full fucking price for this game, and guess what?
Yep.
It's running like a piece of
Tipitarius,
shit. You're never going to.
I have to laugh at that because the literally the reason that I know that this is a problem is because I follow an author on Twitter, John Scalzi, really famous science fiction author. Red Shirts, great novel, by the way. Fantastic take on, well, Red Shirts. I recommend it. He likes video games. He's also phenomenally rich, but he lives in a place without broadband internet access, and he complains about this shit frequently because he can't play the game that he fucking bought because there's a day one patch that he can't fucking download.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
I do
rural
like
people are not necessarily poor. They have some fucking money, and they will spend it.
When I was in the UK, was not in a poor area whatsoever. The entire town had access to high-speed internet, except literally my one street. You know why? Because the fucking exchange was a pile of shit, and BT were literally paid to make the entire town high-speed ready. But they looked at that exchange and went, "No, can't bother."
Yeah.
And they keep fucking it up, and it's still on old copper lines. I can get
that happens
2 meg down, 1.6 up if I'm lucky.
That happens all over the place with internet.
It was horrible.
Yep.
Anyway,
parents have another has another
just
house in the middle of Morton Hampstead on Dartmoor, middle of fuck all, right? Literally fuck all nowhere. This is literally the beast of Bodmin. That you can look out your window and you just see fucking grass and the horizon. It's so fucking rural that the fucking Wurzels came through on a parade singing "I've got a brand new combine harvester." That's how fucking rural it is. Actually fucking happened, has proper high-speed internet. How come that place has, but this place that's not even 6 miles away from Oxford fucking City doesn't?
Oh man! So I gotta call this out.
Yeah.
Because it's great. I was looking through some of the Wolong reviews on Steam. I really love this one. It's long, but the first sentence sums it up. This is a review of Wolong. The first sentence of this review is Nioh 2 exists. Period. Go play that.
look, I have to disagree with that because guess what also exists? Game Pass. You didn't have to spend $80 on this. You could have spent a Game Pass sub. Your fault for buying it. Stop complaining. I actually genuinely I know that something has to be done, but I do also hate people that negatively review games right when they launch and then don't update that review. Like if you review it negatively because it's not running properly, and then when it starts to run properly, you don't update that review.
I mean, it's annoying that people don't do that, but I mean, it's also not entirely their fault. Maybe you should release something that works properly.
That was literally the entire point of my 15-minute rant.
No, I know.
But
I know
anyway.
It's your entire point. I don't really judge the players that much because a lot of people, there's too many games to play. They won't ever come back to it. They'll forget about it. They won't even remember they wrote the frickin' review.
That's my point though. Like if you lose people,
that's
if you
the
don't
problem.
Yeah. Anyway,
they'll review
I'm
going
to stop us here
because it's not running well, and it's a good game. It doesn't run well. They'll review it bad, and they'll never touch it again.
I am going to stop us here because
raisins.
it's late and I gotta sleep. So,
Good night, everybody. Thank you so much.
Shiver, what do you got going on this week? Quick.
We've got oh shit! Tomorrow we're starting a co-op playthrough of Sons of the Forest, which is an early access. But we're going to be doing that over on twitch.tv/Table of Horrors. We've got Run the Flood, our Shadowrun game, and then Friday in your Western time zone we have VTM carrying on.
Shiver, tell me
Table
if Sons of the
Horrors.
Forest is as good as the first game.
Yes and no. It's early access. It wouldn't be fair to give it
Oh.
a complete like.
Never mind.
This
Never
is
mind.
what
It'll
is.
be a while.
It's got the potential to be.
Thank you all for watching, and come back next week. Love you all. Bye.
Love you.